Hello there, and welcome back to the Real Podcaster of Alice Tree. Thank you for joining us. I hope you are enjoying the episode so far, and we've got a cracking one today for you. So I'm going to introduce my guest for today, Amy Elizabeth Photography. I'm not going to even attempt to start introducing. I'm going to hand straight over to Amy because we've got lots to discuss and lots to talk about. So, Amy, tell us, who is Amy Elizabeth?
Hi, well, thanks so much for having me on. This is super exciting. So, yeah, I'm a wedding photographer and I'm based in Derbyshire. I've been doing weddings for the past, coming up to 4 years now, which is like wild.
Yeah,
it's
I didn't realise it was
that long. Yeah, I know. It's flown.
Oh.
And it's really mental as well because I think the longest job I've had before this has always been a year. I've never lasted longer than a year in any other job.
It's going well then.
Yeah, it's going well. Yeah. So weddings is my kind of bread and butter, and then I do a bit of like family sessions and branding and things like that on the side if it's asked of me, but I just at the minute don't really have time to kind of push that, to be honest. So weddings is what keeps me going.
Yeah. So it's all weddings. That's why you haven't got time to push the other, because you've got a lot of weddings going on.
I do.
We're getting into the season
We're
though,
starting.
aren't we? It's starting.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what it's like being a photographer then. How would you tell someone what it's like?
What is it like? I love so much being self-employed. It's I actually always wanted to be self-employed, but I never really knew like how it would look and what that would be like.
Yeah.
So in like final year of uni, I just had the best time ever because I didn't do photography at uni, I did fashion promotion.
Right.
Just sort of set my own schedule then, and had like my week planned out and everything, and I just had a really good work-life balance, I feel like, and I was like, do you know what, this is what I want out of my life. And when I started working and I was employed, it just wasn't the same, obviously having to work to somebody else's structure and, when you're in the creative industry. So I ended up going into fashion marketing, and it's very different from when you're at uni. At uni you get all these projects and unlimited budget and, because they're imaginary budgets.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're in the real world, it's not really like that. And, you're like going through layers on layers of people to get things approved. And by the time you've actually done something, the kind of momentum and motivation has gone a little bit. So, so I just really, really wanted to be self-employed.
Doing it for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I ended up falling into it in, COVID, actually.
Right.
So, I ended up doing an online course in wedding photography, thinking, like this could come to something. I have no idea. And that's kind of exactly what happened. So, so now I just go to people's weddings and, that's like my office on a Saturday. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So quite a shift then from what you were doing at uni.
Yeah, a little bit of a shift. Yeah.
So have you always been interested in photography?
Do you know what? There's from a long time ago, so when I was like 15 or something like that, I don't even remember how or why, but there was a twinge of getting into photography. And it was doing like fashion photography, and I was working for a girl who was putting things on ASOS Marketplace. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. But yeah, I was doing the photos for her. So it was all like vintage pieces, and we were doing like little fashion shoots and things. So I think I ended up I got a nice camera, so I ended up starting to look into photography a little bit more then, just as like a hobby, really.
Yeah.
So it was never something that kind of came to fruition. It's not like I've always been interested in photography and things like that, but I've always been creative, so I think that's why this has kind of developed.
Yeah, which shows with your degree and what you were studying.
Yeah, I suppose it does. So I think that's how I've ended up down, this path.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here you are.
And here I am.
4 years later. busy as anything.
Oh God, yeah.
So tell us a bit about Amy Elizabeth Photo and sort of what services you provide, what your vibe is, what your style is.
So from the very beginning, actually, one thing that's never ever changed is my core value of really wanting to capture people how they are, documentary style, just wanting to not force any moments or anything like that, and just capturing kind of the magic and what is actually going on and what's actually happening between people. So that goes for, on wedding days and in family sessions as well. So, like parents and children, and that's true of all kind of my work. So services, is wedding photography, and there's a few different packages I offer, and then family sessions as well. But that's one thing that's really stayed true, like a true core value from the very beginning. So my style is, pretty much documentary. I just like to really capture the candids. On wedding days I will, and on family sessions actually, I'll stop for a little bit and we'll do, some formal, like, smiles for the camera kind of photos, just because they are nice to have. And especially in a family session, and I always say, the grandparents will love this. And obviously on a wedding day you do have those formal family photos because you just might not, have them otherwise. You just need to make sure that you get those photos with those important people, and then you can just be like, okay, that's done, we've got that in the bag. It's the ones for the mantelpiece, isn't it? So other than that, I just capture the day as it's happening, just whatever's going on, I will, and if I'm there, I'll take a photo of it.
So much more informal, much more natural. And that's your style, that's your vibe.
Yeah, that is my style, especially for a wedding day. I just hate for anyone to think and feel like they weren't at their wedding and they weren't enjoying their wedding with all these people. I'd hate for them to feel like they were being posed, feeling awkward, feeling like they were on a photo shoot. Not that, I want them to feel it's their wedding day.
Which can happen, because you hear, don't you, people are like, they reflect back of the hours of photography and the smiles are running out, and it's like, it starts to feel like a chore, which then kind of you're thinking, this isn't how it really needs to be or should be on your wedding day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do hear from, other guests, for example, about, we went to a wedding, we never saw the bride and groom throughout the drink reception because they were off having their photo taken. No, I'm not about that at all. So pretty much as soon as we'll do the confetti, after that everybody wants to come and say hello to you and give you a hug. Like that happens. So I stick behind the couple at that point, and I'm just getting all those really nice candid moments of people coming up and hugging and saying congratulations. So I just let them enjoy that for a little bit instead of like going, right, come on, I'm not like sergeant drill major or anything, and I don't whisk them off straight away, because I want them to enjoy that as well as being able to capture it for them. So we'll do that. Then I like to say, right, let's get the family photos done. We'll just nail them in the bag, and then they're done. And then after that, so that takes about 20 minutes. And then after that, I just want to let them enjoy. I just say, go drink your champagne, have your canapes, talk to all your family and friends, and I'll just be around capturing it. And then it's the point when people are just about to filter in for food, and they'll go and, they'll be nipping to the loo, they'll be finding their seat, and, they'll be getting a top up at the bar. And I think at that point of the day, you're not really missing out on too much as you would be, say, in the middle of the drinks reception. So that point of the day is when I take couples away for a little walk, around the venue, around the grounds, wherever. And just 20 minutes is all we really need. And then I get them back into the room, and then they're announced in, and it's all fun again.
Oh, wow. Oh, fantastic. So really lots of informal, lots of, I want to take pictures of you enjoying your day. A few stage, because like you said, you've got to get some of those mantelpiece photos that are either going to go in the album or you're going to give to people, but much more documentary style, much more candid.
Definitely.
So you said you've been doing this for about 4 years. So you took the leap to start Amy Elizabeth Photo about 4 years ago. How has that process been of starting your own business?
I mean, it's been amazing. I've loved it. I don't know why. I must have just gone in this completely no fear, like
jump straight in.
I just jumped straight in. I don't know if it was naive, or I just thought, this will be fine. Nothing's going to happen. Like, I'll get bookings. Like, it'll be absolutely fine. So I think, to be honest, in that first year of my business, that first summer, it was 2021. So cast your mind back. It was, remember the COVID app? And if you got pinged, you had to stay at home.
Yeah.
Sorry, bad memories for everyone. But that was what was happening to a lot of second photographers. So when, you have like you'd have the main photographer and you might have a second photographer. So everybody on these like Facebook groups that I'm in, these community groups with photographers going, my second photographer's been pinged, I need a second photographer. So I was like, I'll do it.
Oh, wow.
So I basically cleaned up that summer, being a second shooter.
Yeah.
And then, I suppose that's how I ended up getting, started properly in the wedding industry. So I don't know why there was no people saying, you're not worried, you're not scared about, starting new business and things. I was like, no, I don't know if I really was actually. I don't know why.
You just jumped straight in.
Yeah, I kind of did.
And grabbed those opportunities as they were coming your way.
Yeah, that was it. I said yes to a lot.
Yeah.
In that first year, I would take photos of anything. I think I took photos of like some puppies, and that was crazy. I remember actually, because they were small, tiny little things. It was so sweet. So I was like crouched down all the time, and I was kind of like waddling around. And then I think I like backed up into their water bowl or something.
Sounds like one of our fitness classes.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh wow! So you were just yes to anything because it's experience.
Yeah.
It's photos for your own social media, I guess, to show things that you've done. So it was just a year of yes.
Yeah, that was it. That really was the first year. I did, anniversary parties. I did like all sorts of branding. I did things for free. I did mini sessions. Really helped me actually. Getting a small, sort of a lower the cost of like a normal family session, but just sort of lower the time as well.
Yeah.
So I did one of those in the summer. I did the pumpkin mini sessions. That must have been 2021. So yeah, the pumpkin mini sessions that first year, I remember they went down really well. I had to put on a second day, so I was so pleased about that. And then just doing a lot more of being a second shooter. I was, I just ended up sort of building my portfolio that way.
Yeah.
And in the summer of 2022, that's when I started getting my own weddings, like that I was actually doing. And then, and then it just sort of built from there after I put all of that out, So that's just kind of how it ended up flourishing, I suppose.
Yeah, and it has.
Yeah, it really has
flourished.
Yeah.
To the point where you are really busy. Wedding fever.
It is.
Busy with all the weddings.
So busy.
So what is it actually like being at someone's wedding and working that special event?
It's really nice, there's a particular venue, I do the West Mill a lot. I go there, I think I've been there 13 times this year. I've already done one, so I've got 12 to go.
Wow.
Yeah. Even though it's the same venue, because actually my husband asked me this yesterday, because I always like to show him the previews. I'm like, look what I got.
Yeah.
And he says, do you get bored shooting the same venue all the time? And I was like, do you know what? No, actually I don't, because the people are always different, and that's what makes it, it's always different people, different vibes, different energy. They've probably got, some different suppliers, different entertainment and things like that. So even though, I'm in the same building a lot, but no, it's always the people that really make it. So that's what's really nice about being, photographing a wedding.
Yeah. But then I suppose the flip side, another positive as well as that about being in the same places, all the little nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
You know what is going to turn out well.
Yes.
You know where to get the shots. What's going to look great because you've done it. You've been there. You've seen those photos.
Yeah,
so that's quite nice, really.
Yeah, it is nice.
So, what is an absolute must-have shot at a wedding? So, if anyone's listening to this and they're getting married, what is a must-have that you've really got to capture? And then, what is a no-no?
What is a no-no? I can start with the no-no. No-no is the group photo where all your guests are in a heart shape, and that's a no-no.
Oh.
Well, that's a no-no for me anyway. If you want that, don't book me.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
No, I would do it. I would.
Just the heart. Are you happy with the whole group shot?
The whole group photo, I say that's fine. We'll do it, but just a preface, it's never the cleanest photo. You've always got people that don't really want to be in it. You've got people blinking, people talking, people not looking, people looking at their children to make sure their children are looking at the photo, and then, doing that, they're obviously not looking. You've got people who, put their hands up and things like that. So it's never a clean shot.
Yeah.
But I will do it, obviously. If you want it, it's absolutely fine. I would do the heart photo as well if you really, really wanted me to. But no,
we're backtracking now.
Cringe,
we're backtracking for all those people that are like, I love that heart thing. Do you know I've never heard of that heart thing?
Oh no, I see it now and again. Yeah.
I've never heard of that, and I don't know how you would coordinate 100 odd people
Well, yeah,
to
that's
get into
the
a
other thing.
heart.
I don't
how do you do that?
Yeah, it's honestly.
Do you have to do it from high up then?
Yeah, or you just get a drone.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how you do it. But no, it's hard enough getting the
not the heart people.
don't bother. Yeah, no, it is hard enough getting everyone over for the family photos anyway.
Yeah.
I always say to people, it's not taking the photo that takes that time. It's getting everyone over here. Someone's nipped to the loo. Someone's nipped back to the cottage because they forgot something, or they were going to get the gift, or they were dropping the gift off somewhere. It's getting the people there is what's hard about those photos. Taking the photo is easy.
And is that your job, getting people there? Do you have to round them up?
No, well, I say I round up a couple of people to go and round up those people, because I don't know who Auntie Margaret is. I've never met her before. Never met any of them before.
Yeah,
so,
and you can't really go around shouting in someone's wedding.
Yeah, I don't think so. So I just sort of take it chill. I just say, usually to a bridesmaid, groomsman, can you go and get these people, get them to come over here right now?
Yeah.
And yeah. So that's, if it means a bit of waiting around, it usually does. But that's just kind of normal.
So we know what the no-no is. We're sensing your passion with the no-no. But what is the shot that is just the money shot?
The money shot. I mean, I don't know if I would say there's one particular, because there's always things that, I always get at every single wedding. I'm always getting details. I'm always getting, well, if they want it, sometimes people don't want morning prep. But I'd always be there for that if I was booked for a full day. Obviously the couple photos, the family photos. So I think for me, the one photo that I usually get, it's going to sound obvious, but just a photo of the couple, sounds so obvious.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. But I'm talking like the formal, like with the family photos, but just do that with the couple, because you might start going, okay, these are who we want, especially if a couple will write it out. These are who we want for our family photos. We want, mum and dad, we want the other in-laws, we want grandparents, blah, blah, blah. But I would always add in just one of just the couple, just that, again, the same mantelpiece kind of. So if I haven't done it during the family session, I will do it in the couple photos. So while there's, for the majority, it is just a relaxed 20 minutes walk, you guys being together, I will just stop for a minute and go, okay, just look this way, smile, and then, we carry on walking.
Yeah.
So, that's one that I usually, I'll always get. But, there's things at every wedding that I would always get. I'd always get, the couple walking down the aisle.
Yeah, the cake.
Yeah. I tell you what, confetti. I love a confetti photo. Oh, that is my one. Yeah. So there's been a couple of venues I've been to where they haven't allowed confetti,
right,
but the couple did bubbles instead. So there's obviously nothing falling on the ground, and that's probably what the reason was for the venue. So I think even if you're at a venue that doesn't allow confetti, I still love that moment. I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Some of the shots though that you get. I mean, I've seen some of your confetti shots. They're amazing. Obviously, Lindsay got married a couple of years ago. Yes. She had a fantastic confetti shot. Although she does laugh because I think her husband. Yeah. It was all in his face, and she couldn't get the best shot. But it was just, overall, it just is amazing. Yeah. It's amazing.
No, I try and brief the guests that if you're going to throw confetti, throw it up.
Up, not at them. I know, that's the thing, isn't it? People just want to launch it.
I know, they think it's so funny, and there's always one. There's always an uncle who thinks it's hilarious.
So, what goes in and how much work happens behind the scenes before or during or after the shoot that people just wouldn't realise?
Yeah, I mean, so before a couple have booked me, I mean, I guess we've got, the whole, I've been putting my portfolio out there, making sure that's refined. So we're 3 months into the year now, but when my season ended and I've got all of my galleries from 2024, I've just been going through, and I say I should do this every 3 months, every 6 months, I never do it. I go through every single gallery, every single image, and pick out my absolute favourites. What are my portfolio pieces.
Yeah.
So that's something, and I have to just spend some time and pick out those and just make sure my portfolio is updated. So it's not always the most recent images, but it's my best images, you know, and just having a look at what makes that and having a look at my portfolio as a whole, and just making sure it really speaks to who I'm, you know, my target client and really what I'm doing and, you know, my values. So that's something that takes a little while, and once that's done, you know, hopefully it reaches the right couple, so they'll come and see that and find me. So that's really important for, you know, before a couple have even booked me. And then, you know, we've got things like website, so keeping that updated, my CMS system, and then a couple will come and inquire with me. I'll obviously liaise with them, a couple of emails, they'll book in a call, and then we'll have a Zoom call. And I just want to make sure that the couple are really confident with who they're booking as their photographer, because not
That's
like
nice.
your florist or, you know, whoever you're getting your outfits from, your photographer and your videographer are going to be there all day. So imagine if they turn up and you've never met them, and then you go, oh, they're a bit weird, I don't really like them actually. That's going to reflect in your photos. So I always say you've got to like their work, of course, but you've got to trust them and you've got to like them as a person. So that's what those Zoom calls do. And I always say, even if you've got absolutely nothing to ask me, you've got no questions, let's just have a chat. We'll have a chat about your wedding. You can laugh at my terrible jokes and, you know, just get a feel for, do I want this person with me from the morning of getting ready to up to the dance floor, you know?
It's a good point there.
Yeah.
It is a good point. Do you do the reverse as well? Do you think to yourself during that Zoom call, am I going to be able to work with you? Are our vibes, you know, is it as much for them as it is for you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would say so, because it's going back to that, you know, that documentary style. And do they not want that? If they don't want that, then I'm actually not the photographer for them, you know?
And that's okay, isn't it?
That is okay, because I always say there's a lock for every key, you know, there's so many photographers out there. And even the ones that are similar style to me, will be different people. So then that's what's going to be setting us apart is, you know, our personalities and how I've made you feel. So even if there's somebody, you know, like a completely different style, there's somebody out there for everyone.
Yeah. So actually, going back to the original question, there is a lot of work. Isn't there?
I didn't even finish.
But there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. Just touch on, like, once you've actually shot the day, what happens after that?
What happens? So I'll come home after the wedding's all over, and I will back up those images. They get multiple backups. So they're backed up on like my master hard drive at home, and then I'm not even going to go into how many hard drives I've got, but it's a few, and I keep some in my house and I keep some out of my house as well in like a separate office. So if my house burns down, it's not an issue, you know. It's not an issue for you. It's an issue for me. But your wedding photos
are safe.
Basically,
nothing else. But that's fine.
So they all get backed up, and then I'll cull them. So I'll just go through all the ones that are, not technically haven't worked, or they're duplicates, because I tend to kind of hold down on the shutter a lot. So I'll get maybe 3 of the same image, but just in case somebody blinks, basically, you know, I can still get a safe shot out of that. So get rid of the duplicates, get rid of the ones that technically didn't work, and pretty much the rest are kept. So people go to me, oh my God, that must take ages to go through every single one. And it does. And it's not my favourite part. It's probably my least favourite part of the whole thing. But it is quite quick, really, because I'm just sort of tap, 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 like looking through every image for a second.
You know what's...
I kind of know what's working and know what's coming up. But it's not the favourite part. But I have to do it before I can do anything else. So at least it gets it out of the way. So then I will put it into Lightroom. I'll go through and select the previews. I know some people like to just choose like the best, but I just like to go, as well for easing up kind of my time, I just kind of do every 10th image basically. So I kind of like reorder it and make sure everything is chronologically making sense. And then I just like to pick every 10th image. Just so you get like a real good overview of the day, but you don't get all like the best photos, because then I think, imagine if I just sent all the best ones and then I just send you all the ones that are like mediocre and, you know, safe and stuff. I mean, you might think that they're they're still like wonderful, and obviously they tell the story of your day, but I just don't want it to be underwhelming, you know, when you get your full gallery.
Yeah.
So so that's what I'll do the previews, and then you just go into my little system, and I'll do sort of edits every single day. I try not to do like too many, because I think after a while it's like, I guess if you're doing one task for a really long time, it's you know, you sort of the quality dwindle,
get a bit fatigued
exactly
with it.
Yeah, so I just sort of keep it to a select amount every day, and then it's usually sort of 10-week kind of turnaround for galleries. So
it's a lot. It is a lot, and I think it's good to shine a light on some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, because I think people might not understand that. And when you're looking at packages, and when you're looking at pricing packages and stuff like that, you have to take into consideration the before, the during, and the after, don't you?
Yeah.
And it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about being there on arguably the most important day of someone's life, and you, again, arguably, are probably one of the most important functions of that day, how do you cope personally carrying around that pressure?
I don't feel the pressure. A lot of people say this to me, like, oh, it must be stressful.
Yeah, well, I would think that.
Well, no, I don't find it stressful, because I think now, because I know what I'm doing, and I know how a wedding day works, you know, so I don't really find it pressure. The pressures come from, say, if there's multiple locations, you know, you've got a morning prep location, maybe you're going to both as well and you're separate, and then, you know, say a church and then a venue afterwards, and it's driving around finding parking and things like that. Like I've done weddings at like a venue. There was one in Matlock, and that was a morning prep location, and then the venue. We were thankfully just there for all day, but it was Matlock and it was a sunny Saturday. So parking was...
And traffic.
Oh, the traffic, all of that. That is where the pressures and the stress comes from for me.
Yeah.
But photographing a wedding day, I don't feel the pressure. Yeah, because I know what's happening. I've been to lots of wedding days. Like, there's all different nuances, but generally... not all weddings are the same, but it's the people that makes them different, but the structure is always the same. So I know, confetti's happening next. After that, we're going to do family photos. After that, it's candids. Then I'm going to nip in. Details will take me 5-10 minutes. So, and then there's things I've put in place. So for my cameras, there's things like that. You know, I've got 2 cameras, so if one fails on the day, I don't have to stress about it. If a lens breaks on the day, I've got 4 more, so it's fine. I've got spare batteries, I've done all of that prep, because I know, you know, what could happen, I suppose, and I know, those prep to be prepared. I've even set both my cameras to the shutter will not go if I don't have cards in the camera, because you can do that. So you can have the shutter go, but have no cards in it. So imagine I was like click away, and there was no cards in. Could you imagine?
No,
I couldn't. So I changed that setting
immediately.
You can do that
again, you know.
Oh no,
you can't do that again.
That's it.
So it sounds like preparedness, thinking about every eventuality, experience. You're experienced at this now. You know your stuff. Like you said, you've been to a lot of weddings, and although each of them are unique and individual and special, you know the drill. So just having all of that knowledge, all that experience, the confidence in what you do means that you don't actually carry nerves on the day as such. You're there to do a really good job, and you do a really good job.
I suppose, there's sometimes afterwards when I'm looking through going, I don't know if this is my best work, but you know, afterwards people seem to be really happy. I'm probably just a bit too self-critical or something, but so there's times like that, but in general I think that what's nice now is that I know what I'm doing, but I also know why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it comes down to experience, like you said,
and having confidence in the work that you're producing as well. So thinking about the confetti shots and the heart shots, love or hate them, whatever, how do you keep up with trends, you know, in this ever-changing industry where it's all about like social media, what's on TikTok, what's hot, what's not? How do you keep up with that and sort of make sure that you incorporate that in someone's day if it's what they're wishing? Like, how do you keep up with the trends and stuff?
Yeah, well, there's trends in two senses, I suppose. There's trends in terms of what people are doing at their weddings. So, like, champagne towers are really in right now, which I love so much. I absolutely love them.
I love drinking them.
Yeah, they're great. It's really funny when they fall down as well. It does happen. So yeah, there's trends in that sense, and in that case, you know, I'll just say I'm just like shooting what's happening, you know, whatever you want, whatever you're doing. And then there's trends in terms of photography and photography styles. So we've seen there's been a bit of this like Dutch tilt at the minute, which is basically a photo like on a little bit of an angle. So I don't think it's quite like the 2000 era, you know, where every photo just seems to be on an angle, every wedding photo, I don't know. But it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more editorial in a way. But I don't know if it's for me. And I think that's where the difference for, you know, I don't just jump on the trend straight away. So Direct Flash was really having a moment, and I'm into it, and I'm using it where I see applicable, like the blurry as well. Have you seen like the blurry photo? That's the trend. Again, I'm there for it, but I'm just I don't kind of jump on them straight away. I sort of see how it kind of works into my work and how I'll use them how I see fit, rather than just going, it's a trend, I've got to do it, otherwise I'm going to be left behind.
Yeah.
Because there is a sense of that, but then you've also got to be really true to yourself and true to your, you know, your style, because it's that consistency that people want to see in your work, rather than just kind of flip-flopping and going, oh, now I'm editorial, now I'm documentary, and, you know, so...
like you said earlier about your core values, it's kind of sticking to the core values, but you know, if something happens and it works, great, you know, but sticking to kind of what you know, and like you said, not just jumping on the latest, right, it's all about this, it's all about that, because otherwise you don't have that core then,
exactly,
do you?
Yeah, that's what it really needs to come back to.
So thinking about the business side of things then, how do you find being a business owner, and how do you manage the demands and the responsibilities, thinking about sort of work life and those sorts of things? How do you manage it?
Yeah, so I mean, day to day, I feel like I manage it pretty well. I'm such a lover of a weekly to-do list. It's like, I've done a weekly to-do list for like the last 2 years, and I just love it so much. And it's developed, so like I now have a work section, a home section, I've got a workout section.
Wow. You're organised, aren't you? I can tell.
Sometimes I am, in some senses. I don't know if I'm organised in every sense of my life. I don't know.
It's coming across organised.
Okay.
It's giving organised.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I don't feel like that sometimes, but okay. So day to day, you know, I suppose I'm quite organised in like managing my time and what I need to do. And I like the weekly to-do list because things come up, you know, and okay, maybe that took me 5 minutes and actually I thought it was going to take me ages, or perhaps I can't do that today, so I'll just have to do it tomorrow, rather than a daily to-do list, because I really feel like you could feel like a failure, just, you know, I didn't get this and that ticked off.
So ends up making you feel worse.
So I just like that for, you know, my weekly management. And then in sense of a sort of the looking at the year, I suppose, and booking in weddings, I try so hard, and I'm really, really trying to pull it back for 2026, because I've got quite a few, maybe 2 months in a row where I'm basically working every Saturday.
Right.
So this year it's not so bad because I do have my Sundays off. If I booked a Saturday or a Sunday, I haven't booked the other day, and it's a firm no. And I try really hard to keep a weekend every month free, but for 2026 I would like it to be a couple of weekends a month, because I'm looking at the calendar and I'm like, this looks really scary actually, you know. And like my husband said to me, we're looking at going on holiday in July. I've already booked, you know, the time off well in advance.
Because you're organised.
Well, because I kind of have to do, otherwise they just get filled. That's the problem. So he said, "Oh, is there any leeway on those dates? Like, could we maybe go the week before?" And I'm like, "No, there's, honestly,
are you joking?
We go on holiday in July, or we go in November. I'm afraid, and that is the problem."
Wow.
So, and similarly, we're trying to get away for like with family for another like birthday thing, and I said, "You know what, guys, you'll honestly just pick a date and go without me, because honestly, I will not be available. And they were like, no, tell us some dates, give us some dates. I said, okay, you want to go though? I'll tell you some dates. I said, I've got this weekend in March, I've got this weekend in May, I've got a weekend in August, and from November onwards. And that's, when do you want to celebrate your July birthday? Okay, out of those options.
Yeah.
So, but that's talking full weekends. You know, I do have my Sundays. So, but yeah, for a broader sense, it is trying to pull it back a little bit and not say yes to absolutely everything.
Yeah, to create as much balance
as
you can.
And the thing is, I think if you ended up booking everything in, so, you know, doing every weekend, doing every like Thursday to Sunday wedding, some people do that, but for me, I just think I'd end up really being fatigued. I don't think I could show up for, you know, the Sunday couple as I did for the Thursday couple. I did in, I think, 2022, and I do have one in 2023, but the middle day is a half day, so I'm thinking it won't be so bad, but a triple header, so a Friday, Saturday, Sunday wedding. And on the Sunday, I did feel guilty because I was like, do you know what, I don't think I can show up and give what, you know, my all in the same way as I would have if I'd had rest. So I think that's, you know, not just for like personal life and work-life balance, but actually it's, you know, it helps, for my clients. You know, you can't be paying all this money and not having me turning up in
not being
bad
at
shape.
100%. But that, I suppose that's just experience, isn't it? And you've noticed that, you've reflected on that, and then you know to as much as possible to avoid doing that, so that you are on kind of like top form for every single wedding that you're getting.
Yeah, that's it.
But you know, you're human. You're only human, you know. I
am human, and you know, props to the people that can do it, because they are out there. But it's not for me. And if I do want to be giving, you know, my all to every single wedding, because they all deserve it. You know?
Yeah. But creating that balance and taking time for you and being able to say no, which some people really struggle with.
Yes,
that helps reduce, you know, burnout, fatigue. It helps you keep passionate and interested in what you're doing. You know, if you're constantly saying yes at the detriment of your own personal life and, you know, work-life balance and stress levels and stuff like that, you're not going to have that longevity.
That's
so it's good. Good to be able to reflect and notice that. So I think it's fair to say your passion for photography and weddings in particular, but other things as well, really does shine through, and I've noticed that today. What is the best part of your job, or what's the most favourite part of being a photographer?
Oh, my favourite part of my job is probably, do you know what? It's probably being able to, when I've like sort of thinking about on a wedding day, when I worked in fashion, it felt very rinse and repeat, and it was like, okay, we're doing the spring-summer campaign, we're doing the autumn-winter campaign, okay, we're doing the spring-summer campaign for the next year. And it felt really rinse and repeat. And actually, even though it was creative and that's what I enjoyed, it really felt shallow, I suppose. It just didn't have any kind of substance to it. So when I do like family sessions and weddings, and people have got, you know, their favourite photos of their grandparents and things like that, I feel like I'm really I've got such job satisfaction because I'm doing something that's actually got longevity, and you know, people have these photos up for birthdays and, you know, for all kind of times in their life, and they can have a look back on them, and just really nice, especially because it's documentary and I'm just capturing all these moments that actually happened, you know, so like that cute moment where you guys were, I don't know, like playing in the sun and, you know, all of that stuff, or you were like laughing with your grandma at a joke, and those are like real moments that happened, and you can look back on those and know that that is what was happening, and not that it was a fake moment for, you know, for the photo. Smiling in the photo, not for the photo, is like my motto.
Nice.
So, that's probably one of my favourite parts, is that I can kind of, it's like a gift that I can give to people in a way.
That lasts
like I can capture those moments that
last forever for people. That's nice. So, have you got any nightmare stories of your photography journey so far, or has it all been plain sailing?
It probably hasn't all been plain sailing. There's nothing too nightmarish that has really, really happened, thankfully, touch wood. It's things that I talked about earlier, like the traffic and, you know, like going to multiple locations, like they're the really stressful times, but they've always kind of come about. I did actually do a wedding recently. It all worked out fine in the end. It was all okay.
Oh my God, what?
But it was morning prep at the bride's mum's house. Then it was on to the church. So I put the postcode in for this church. It was called like St. Peter's Church or something. So I turned up at St. Peter's Church, and she told me that the car park was on the right, but it was came on the left. And I was like, okay. Also looked very quiet at St. Peter's Church. I was like, I don't think there's a wedding on here today. So, but the thing is, it was the exact right postcode, and it was the same name of the church. It was really weird, but we were at this completely wrong church.
Oh no.
So that was horrible. That was a really horrible moment, and we had to go through Chesterfield, drive through Chesterfield to find it. So yeah, turning up then a little bit flustered was horrible, but it was so weird. It was the right postcode. I hadn't actually done anything wrong, I promise.
Yeah.
But yeah, right postcode, and then I think the church was actually called like St. Peter's and St. Paul's Church or something like that.
Right.
So it was so weird, but it was, I was in the totally wrong place, and that was horrible. But yeah, I managed to call. I always have an emergency contact, so whether it's like mum or bridesmaid or whatever, I managed to call them and say, hey, look, we're on the way. We're going to be here at this time. Please, I'm so sorry, don't start without me.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
But it was all good, and they were lovely, and hopefully nobody noticed.
No, I bet you turned up like nothing had even happened.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I really
even though inside you probably felt like, oh my God, I could literally explode.
Yeah, awful.
I went to a funeral once and went to the wrong cram.
Oh no.
And missed it completely.
Oh.
I know, could be worse.
Oh.
I won't say whose. So, what is coming up next then for Amy Elizabeth Photo?
Well, it's a lot of weddings. A lot of weddings coming up this year.
Yeah.
So I've done 2, so I've got 36 left to go. So that lasts me till the end of...
Oh, wow.
But you know what? They always come in for the same year. Every single year, they come in for the same year. So, I mean, as long as they're in like November, December for this year, I can take them, but otherwise I can't.
So that gives us a bit of an idea of how many weddings you actually do.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. So yeah, a lot of weddings, going to a lot of places, but I feel like I've had a little bit of a shift recently in terms of I haven't done any goals for this year, actually. I'm just sort of carrying on. I'm like keeping on. I used to think, once I've booked a destination wedding, I've made it, absolutely made it as a wedding photographer. I'm not that bothered actually now. I've done a few. I'll go anywhere in the country. I'm so excited. I'm going to Cornwall this year for a wedding. Where else am I going? I think I'm going to like one in Buckinghamshire or something, so that's a little way from me, so I've got to stop overnight. But yeah, destination weddings. I've done some more in the UK last year where I had to sort of travel and be away from home. And like, no, I don't have kids, but I like being at home. I don't like being away, and having to work every Saturday, through the summer. My time is limited. My husband works a Monday to Friday, so yeah, our weekend time is special and important, and it's valuable to me. So no major like big goals or anything, but one thing I'm trying to, I guess my motto for this year is just to do the scary things, just to say yes to more opportunities and just see what happens. So in terms of, I suppose it would be work related, really. I get to chat about work here, saying yes to things like this.
Yes.
So that's kind of,
I'm glad you did.
I don't know, we'll see what comes up,
Oh,
I just want to say yes to more. I just want to do, especially things that are like scary. I did a conference, or went to a conference last year. I'm going, it's at the end of this month, and there's like a part of that where you can submit a photo, like your favourite photo that you've taken, and then they get you up and you have to talk about it. So that was so scary.
Oh wow!
But it was fun and it was amazing, and that is kind of what prompted me to go, do you know what, I need to say yes to more. And especially there at that conference, I got to listen to like loads of amazing photographers and just hear you leave feeling really, really inspired.
Oh, that's
nice. That's kind of what I want to do.
Yeah, and something quite different to what you do, for your day job. So that's quite nice.
Yeah, so
saying yes to more. Okay. So tell us, Amy, how can people get in touch with you to find out more about the services that you offer? Because it isn't just weddings, or to have a chat with you, get booked in, whatever it might be. How can people reach you?
Yeah, so the best way, if you actually want to reach me, is going through my website. So yeah, you can fill out my contact form there, because people do come through my DMs, but on Instagram and stuff, but they can sometimes get lost, especially with wedding dates. Because my system will tell me if there's something else in there immediately, or if something else comes through later while you've still been deciding. Your date might just go, because I won't realise if it's on an Instagram DM. So going through my website is the absolute best way. Or, if you just want to see like a little bit of my work and have a chat and see a bit about my life, because I try so hard to chat on stories and to like share bits and snippets of my life. Yeah. So yeah, just seeing my Instagram. So Amy Elizabeth Photo with an underscore.
It's Instagram.
And
the website?
Website is, I think it's just amyelizabethphoto.uk.
Okay.
I think.
Search for it, Amy Elizabeth, and if all else fails, get in touch. We can put you through. So thank you so much for answering all of those questions. I said to Amy as we started, these are the most amount of questions I've ever asked anyone, because when I was thinking about the questions and what I wanted to ask, there's just so much to find out about a wedding photographer, so I just kept going and going. So well done. Thank you so much for answering all of those questions.
It was so nice.
So there is only just one last thing, is to find out your good, bad or ugly. So this is something that might have happened personally or professionally, recently or maybe not, that falls under the category of either being really good, really bad, or really messy and ugly.
Oh, ugly. I've got an ugly one for you.
I don't think we've had an ugly.
Oh, you not? Oh, this is ugly.
It's a first.
I mean, it could be, you could say it's bad. I say it's ugly. It's horrible. This is probably, well, it is the downside of working for yourself. I've got to be the tech manager. I've got to be the IT manager. I hate that. That's horrible. So when my Mac was dying and going on a go slow last week, and I was just, I don't even know what the words were, but I was ready to throw it out the window, but I couldn't do that because I need it. Yeah. And I need someone to help me, and I've only got me to help me. So yeah, all the tech issues I was having last week was just horrendous. And I ended up just through despair putting something out on Instagram and being like, can anyone please come and help me with my Mac? Oh. And a friend of mine messaged and was like, do you know what, I'm not being funny, my brother is really good at this and he lives around the corner. So I was like, can you come over please? Can you come to my house and stuff?
God.
And he's sorting me out, so he's on speed down now.
Yeah, you've got him.
Yeah,
there's no hiding for him.
Yeah.
So that was ugly and it was bad. Yeah. But then there was a bit of good.
There was a bit of good, yeah. Family
it
tech
worked
manager.
out good, yeah. Like you said though, you are you. There's no one you can call for a bit of tech support.
Yeah, well,
you can't call IT.
Most of it I can manage, but it's that techie side, when Macs and hard drives and things like that start going.
It's beyond me.
No, it's not my bag.
So, now it's time for you to ask me anything. So this is the flip and reverse it part of the pod where you get to ask me anything.
Okay, well, currently we've watched Breaking Bad, and we are in Better Call Saul at the minute, which we're absolutely loving. So I just wanted to ask you about TV and film and anything you're watching at the minute.
Nice.
Anything you're absolutely loving, or like favourite film you've ever seen.
So I love this question because I absolutely love watching TV, but I love watching like box sets or anything that's out new. I love recommendations, but I've got a lousy memory. So anytime, look at this. So you won't be able to see that, but basically anytime anyone says, have you ever watched this, or you've got to watch this, I get my phone out and I put it in my notes, and I'll tell you the last thing that I watched, which was just brilliant. This came as a recommendation from Lindsay, my friend. It's on Netflix. Nobody Wants This. Have you seen it?
No, I think I've seen
will love it.
Oh, okay.
2 girls, 2 sisters, podcast, really fun. Like, there's a bit of a love story that's a thread throughout, and it's just light-hearted, easy to watch, and I found it hilarious. Ooh. So that's the thing that I've watched lately, which is Nobody Wants This. But what I want to get into is Yellowstone.
Ah.
So I've heard really good things about that. It's on the list.
It's on the list. Is that the one, like Wild West?
Yeah, Cowboys, Kevin Costner.
Sam watches that.
Really?
Yeah, he enjoys it.
But not you. You don't watch it with him?
No, I haven't watched it with him really. He's very into like TV and film especially,
Yeah.
like really researches a lot of,
Yeah.
you know, who's getting the Golden Globes, who's getting the Oscars. And
wow.
yeah, he's really into
So he's
it.
the one to go to then.
He is the one, honestly, he really is the one
when
to
we
go
want
to.
to know what to watch.
Yeah, because if I ever scrolling through stories, probably while he's watching something amazing, and somebody goes, "Oh, have anyone got any recommendations for good TV?" And I'm like, "Sam, what is it?"
Yeah, I
Good
love
films,
that. So are you impressed with my list?
I am impressed with your list. Yeah,
It's good, isn't
Yeah,
it?
very
It's
good.
long. I can send it you.
Yeah, please.
Oh, that's a good question though. Thank you. So all that's left is to give a shout out for this week then. So this week's shout out is to Punjabi Kitchen Mickleover.
I've heard of them.
Have you heard of them?
Yes, I've never been.
Oh my God. You've not tried anything from there?
No.
So
We're
they
wanting to.
provide traditional Punjabi food, cooked with love, they say on the website, which is just lovely. And they do pop-ups around Derby and Derbyshire. So pop-ups around here, including places like the Little Darley that we talked about last pod, 189. They do pop-ups at Darley Abbey Wines, the Optimist and Despondent, and they go further afield as well. So they do pop-ups all over the place. Their food is out of this world. We did one of their pop-ups at Mickleover Sports when we went to an event there.
Ah.
The food was amazing. I haven't stopped thinking about it since, so I need to get down to the next pop-up, which is Little Darley and Darley Abbey. But follow them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, which is Punjabi Kitchen Mickleover, because they advertise all the pop-ups, what dates they're going where, and where to find them. And the food is incredible. So give them a follow. It's not to be missed. So, all that's left is to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Amy for coming on and talking to us about all things photography. It's been fantastic and I've learned a lot and hopefully you guys have too. So if you know anyone that's looking for a photographer, spread the word. We have the perfect person right here and you found it on the pod. So thank you so much, everyone.